Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to do a really simple single row repeat pattern to make this rather wonderful rug or heavy blanket. Now I needed a rug to go in my hallway, and so I chose to use quite a dense stitch with a thick texture. So I'm using this Papatia Moulin chunky wool, which I bought online in this particular colorway. It's really attractive. I wanted something that didn't show the dirt and also would be hard wearing and wash up very easily. So that's what I chose for my big project, which I have nearly finished. I've got one more skein or ball of yarn to use up, and I'm really pleased with the effect that this colorway is making. So let's put this to one side, and this is a V-stitch that I'm showing you, and it's a half double crochet. So this is exactly the same stitch as the rug I'm doing, and it's worked in multiples of 2. So we've got 2, 2, 2 all the way across, and then 2 turning chain at the very end. So I'm going to make up a sample that's going to look like this to give you an idea of how easy this particular stitch is to do. And I'm calling it a stacked half double crochet V-stitch. And it's slightly different from other V-stitches that you might see online, because a V-stitch is simply, something that gives you this particular V shape here, and these are stacked one on top of the other. So let's work up a sample. I'm going to go nice and slowly, and you can follow along too. Today for this example I'm using an Aran weight yarn and a size 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to be using American terms. In fact, there's only one term in this. It's either a half double crochet or a half treble if you're in the UK. So for my little sample, there's an error in that piece of yarn. I'll avoid that bit. This is some yarn I'm using for my temperature blanket. I had a little bit left over, so I wound it up. So make a slip knot. Most people know how to do a slip knot. I have another video if you want to learn how to do a slip knot. Don't pull it too tight at the beginning. Insert your hook, draw it up so that it's sitting quite loosely on your hook. It slides up and down, but not so loosely you're going to get stuck. We're going to chain a multiple of 2. So for this example, I'm going to chain 20. To do a chain, we're going to hold our work between our thumb and our second finger of our left or non-dominant hand, and we're going to put the yarn over our index finger here and trap the working yarn underneath our pinky and our ring finger here. I'm using the knife grip on an ergonomic hook. So to do a chain, we're going to go yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, need a bit more yarn here, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's our 20 chain. So if you were going to do a great big, you could do a shawl, a wrap really, or maybe a throw. You'd obviously work the right number of chain stitches that matches what you want to do. Now we need to come up the side here. So in this example here, we need to do the 2 stitches that come up the side. Now, depending on your tension, you might only want to do one, but I find with this chunky wool, the one I'm using for the rug, I need to do two. One chain, two chain, and I've got my thumb and my finger right here to indicate exactly what is the side. Okay, so I know that I'm going to go into this first stitch here, and to start with we're going to do a half double crochet into that third stitch from your hook. So yarn over, yarn in. Now I'm going to go into the V, capturing the top two strands of yarn. Yarn over, pull through, just ease it a little bit. Yarn over and pull through all three loops on the hook. So it is a very simple stitch and gives this chunky feeling. Now we're not going to do any spaces here, there's no chains at this point. We're simply going to do another half double crochet. So yarn over into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three loops on your hook. So in one stitch we've got now produced two stitches, so we're going to skip the next stitch just here and go into this stitch here. So yarn over, and the foundation, this first row is always the most tricky. It gets much easier once you get a couple of inches onto these projects. It's much easier. So you're doing your half double crochet, yarn over, pull through all three, yarn over into the same stitch for the second stitch in that hole, yarn over and pull through, skip a chain into the next one, yarn over, yarn in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through three, yarn over into the same stitch for our second half double crochet, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull up, and again skip a chain into the next one, yarn over, hook in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through. So it's an over, in, over, over, pull through, over, that's miss a stitch, over, in, over, over, pull through. We've got one in there, we need another one, over, in, over, over, pull through, skip a chain, over, in, over, pull through. Let's get a bit more wool, although it's not wool, it's yarn, over. Now I've lost where I went, just make sure I go in the right gap. Good thing about crochet, if you make a mistake, you simply undo it. Skip a chain, go into the V, yarn over, pull through. We're getting to the end of the row now. Yarn in, over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three, skip a chain, yarn over, into the V, yarn over, pull through three, yarn over, into the same space, yarn over, pull through three, we're getting there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little clusters of half double crochet. Now we have an extra stitch on the end, so I am simply going to do a double crochet into the last stitch, so that it is at the correct level of the rest of our work. 2 chain, and then turn our work to the left, and now we're ready to do the next row, and this is where it gets much easier. So we're going to go into this first hole between the 2 half double crochet, and we're going to do 2 half double crochet into that gap, 1 half double crochet and another one. Moving along, find the gap between those 2 half double crochet. This becomes more apparent the more rows that you do. So there's no chain in between. All you're doing is finding that gap between those, between the V, the top of the V. Into this gap. So you're literally doing the same stitch all the way across, but it gives the effect that you've done something very different, but you haven't. There are V stitches with chains in between. I didn't use that type of V stitch. The reason being is that I really wanted my V's to be quite tight, because obviously a rug is going to get quite a lot of use. So it needs to have a dense stitch and to be quite thick. I didn't want it so thick that the door wouldn't open, because the front door opens on top of it, across it, but equally I wanted, and also I didn't want it so thin that I have to back it with a fabric. I might well back it. We'll see when it's finished. So we're coming to the end of our second row here. Now you could use this stitch also for a lightweight scarf by crocheting an extra chain in between your V's, and I'll do an example of that another time. So we've come to the end here. We're going to do, now we're going to actually do a half double crochet into that last gap this time, just to close that up. 2 chain and turn your work. Now it gets very simple because we're all ready to go. So there we have it. We have an example here which shows what it's going to look like. Let's go back to the longest sample I did here. So as I stretch it out, you can see what it looks like. So it gives this V between these half double crochet, and then a slight gap every so often in between the two, in between the clusters. So there we go. That is our half double crochet V-stitch with no chain space. Thanks so much for watching. Check back in. Do subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.